Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today as I was writing the description for the first video, I remember that some months ago I realized something important that helped me to understand why I was so afraid of being seen. It completely changed the way I see my insecurities and I want to share it with you. Like everyone else, I sometimes go through those moments where I start becoming so aware of something about me. It could be something about my appearance or something about my personality. And one of the things that I really love to do when I have one of those moments is go to the internet and search for people who overcome that problem. And when my brain finds proofs that that problem can be solved, then somehow my brain starts to get quiet. So I did the same thing. I went to the internet, I did my research, and I was trying to calm myself down. I was trying to say to myself that everything was going to be okay, that if in the future I can do something to, to improve that aspect, then I don't have anything to worry about, right? But then the following days, my brain was focusing too much on that thing. So every time I would look to myself in the mirror, my eyes would start looking at that part of my body. And, you know, even though I knew that this is something that I can improve, my brain was still focusing too much on that thing. I was trying so hard not to think about that issue. But I think that the more you try to avoid something, your brain starts focusing on that even more. So when I have those moments in my life, one of the questions that I always ask myself is this. Are people going to notice that? Is that noticeable? And most of the time, the answer is no. And for years, that answer gave me a lot of comfort. Then I ask myself, why do I need people not to notice something about me in order for me to feel okay, to feel safe, to feel good? Why was my peace of mind depending on what others perceive or don't perceive? And the more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable I felt. I am someone who has spent the past few years working on myself and trying to overcome my insecurities and trying to just become the best version of myself. And knowing that I still needed other people's approval to feel good, it made me feel that I was giving my power away. So I just kept asking myself questions. Why does it matter to you so much? Why are you so afraid that other people might notice it? And that's when something clicked for me. My brain, my mind started bringing moments of my life where I was just simply existing, simply living, just doing whatever, playing, laughing, cooking, eating, etc. And then someone would come and say something about me. And, those kind of unsolicited comments that I think we all get, especially when you are a kid and you don't have the tools to stand up for yourself. So I grew up like this, hearing people's comments about my weight, my height, my skin, uh, traits of my personality, etc. I remember that these kind of comments made me feel so sad, so hurt. But I was never able to express it to the other person. Because let's say I would hear this comment when I was 8 years old, I was 10 years old, and also during my teenage years. So, what could I do in that moment, especially if the other person was already an adult and that adult is coming to me and saying all those things about me? Like, I always thought as a kid that you have to have so much respect for adults that you cannot just, clap back, that you cannot reply to whatever they say about you because they are adults and you have to respect them. So I would just swallow all the discomfort, all the pain, all the hurt. And the thing is that these comments that people made about me, my that little girl, she believed in all those things. She really internalized those comments and she thought that that was true. Now, as an adult, I can go back to those moments and realize that what those people did was simply not okay. That even though you have an opinion about something, it doesn't mean that you have to express it, especially when it comes to an opinion that you have about someone else's looks or personality. I think that that is very, very, very rude. Over the years, I've realized the importance, the power that our words have, making unnecessary comments on other people's appearance or personality can actually leave a mark that could last for years, especially if that person is already struggling with low self esteem. Sometimes we have no idea what the other person is going through. Maybe that's the worst week of their life. Maybe they are struggling with anxiety, or maybe they are depressed. A comment that seems so small to us can become something that they remember for years. And I don't think that's the kind of impact that we should want to have on other people. As I continued thinking about it, I finally realized something very important. The reason I became so obsessed with trying to fix something about myself isn't because I thought I needed to be perfect. It's because somewhere along the way, my brain learned that if people notice something about me, then they might hurt me. So eventually, my brain came up with this way of protecting me. It started looking for flaws before anyone else could notice them. It was almost like my brain was scanning my body, my personality, trying to look for things that people might point out in the future. Because if I notice it first, maybe I could fix it. Maybe nobody would say anything. And if nobody said anything, then I wouldn't get hurt. The problem is that that becomes a cycle that never ends. Because once you fix something, your brain starts looking for the next thing to fix. And then something else, and then something else. And there's always another flaw. There's always something that could be better, something you could improve, something you could change. And if your goal by doing that is to become completely free from criticism, then you're never going to get there because people will always have opinions. Some people might think you're beautiful, some others might not. Some others might think that your nose is too big. Some other people might think that your nose is the most beautiful nose in the whole world. And as you see, you're always going to find different opinions about the same subject. People will always find something to criticize about you, no matter what you look like or who you are. I don't need everyone to approve of me in order to feel okay. I don't need everyone to like the way I look. I don't need everyone to think that I'm beautiful. Those are their opinions. They belong to them. They don't belong to me. And more importantly, those opinions don't define who I am or how I feel about myself. So instead of spending all my precious energy in trying to find the next thing to solve, the next thing to fix, I rather spend that energy accepting myself. That doesn't mean that I will never want to improve something about myself. Maybe there are going to be things that I want to improve, change, and I think that's okay. But whether I change them or not, I still deserve to live my life. I still deserve to be seen. I still deserve to exist. I still deserve to post pictures. I still deserve to create YouTube videos. So I'm just really trying to be very gentle with myself because this is something that I recently discovered. And as anything that you want to apply into your life, at the beginning it requires a lot of effort, a lot of practice, a lot of energy to remind yourself of the truth. I hope this video reminds you that you don't have to become perfect before you allow yourself to be seen. I just want to let you know that it doesn't matter what you do or what you don't do. There are going to be people who are going to always find something to say, whether it's negative or positive. And we shouldn't allow other people's opinions to define who we are. And I want to tell you something else. Try to remember how you were when you were a child. You know, those moments when you were just existing, just living your life. I bet you never thought that you needed to fix yourself because kids are not aware of those things. When we are growing is when we learn to judge, to criticize. And I also hope that this video can really make you understand the power that our words have. So next time you find yourself having the impulse to tell someone else an opinion that you have about their looks, their appearance, their personality, then think it twice before you say something. Just try to be gentle. Be gentle. Treat others the way you would like people to treat you. And that was the message for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Take care.